Hello, welcome to the Church360 members training webinar for entering attendance. Hi, my name is Rod Kiles and I am the Customer Onboarding Specialist for Concordia Technology Solutions. I've been with the company for a little bit over 15 years and I really appreciate my time here. You can reach me one of two ways. You can reach me by email at rod.kiles@cph.org. And you can also reach me by phone at 314-268-1315. I kindly ask that you mute your phones or microphones and type any questions you may have into the question window. I do answer these questions in order, and I'll make sure to answer each one at the end of class. So if you have any questions that come to mind while I'm presenting the material, please go ahead and enter those in. And as soon as the session ends, we'll go ahead and answer those. This webinar is broken into basically three parts. So we're going to start out by going through the outline here. Then we'll have, transition into the software. We'll log in and we'll go through each one of these features. Then we'll have our question and answer session at the end. So in this training webinar, we're going to start out by discussing calendars, and we'll go through each one of the types of calendars, and we'll show you how to create calendars as well. After that, we will move over into the events view, where we'll discuss the monthly and weekly events views, and we'll show how to add in attendance events. So we'll need to get those attendance events into the software prior to us actually recording the attendance. After we have our events in the system, then we'll go ahead and move over to our attendance view, and we'll go through the process of entering in attendance. So we'll start by selecting events, then we'll also show you how to enter in just the count, selecting the attenders, adding in our usher count, and discuss using smart groups. Then we'll have our question and answer session. So if you're ready, I'm ready. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch screens here, and everyone should be able to see the Church360 members site. And when you're on the site, you'll have a landing page that looks just like this one right here. So up at the top, you'll have your domain name or your subdomain name, followed by .360members.com. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. If for some reason you forget your password, there is a forgot your password link here. And that forgot your password link, and I'll actually click on that, that will allow you to type in your email address and reset your password. So if for some reason you can't log in, you can just use the forgot your password link. Doing so will send yourself an email with a link inside that email. Clicking on that link will bring you back to Church360 members, then allowing you to go ahead and type in and reset your password. So I'm going to say, no, wait, I remember. Then I'm going to go ahead and log into the software. One other thing, the Remember Me checkbox here on the right-hand side, what that does is it keeps you logged into the software until you log yourself out. So it puts a cookie on your machine keeping you logged into the software. So go ahead and log in. And once I log into the system, I'm going to land here on the People view, and that's going to be my default view for this user. And you can set the system to have either land on people, events, attendance, offerings. You can also have it land on your profile. So across the top is going to be your main menu bar. It'll start out with your church logo, and then it'll have each one of the different parts of the software. Then on the right hand side, there's going to be your message center. It's signified by this little bell, and I kind of think of it as a reminder bell. And that allows you to download your mailing labels, church directories, and contribution statements. To right of that's going to be our settings gear, which will hold our collections and our admin items. And then there'll also be a profile icon, which allows you to view your profile, access your user settings, and to log out of the software. So when dealing with entering attendance into the system, the first thing we're going to want to note is that every single event that's in the system is going to appear on a calendar. So the collection item that helps us with attendance and with events is going to be the calendars. So if I go to the gear here at the right-hand side and click on calendars, that is going to take me into the calendars view. Now, inside of Church360 members, there's 4 different types of calendars. And those 4 types of calendars are going to be the custom calendars that you can create yourself. There's going to be significant life event calendars. There's going to be Unite calendars, and then we also have default calendars. Now, to go through each one of those, and actually let me start with the default calendars first. The default calendars are calendars that are here in the system, put in specifically by the programmer, so they kind of have a special use to them. And those 2 calendars are the education calendar and the worship calendar, all the way down here at the bottom. And what makes those calendars unique, anytime that you put an attendance event on those 2 calendars, the attendance recorded on those calendars will show underneath our recent attendance view. So if you go to reports here at the top and you go over to your recent attendance view, you'll notice how it says worship and education. So it's worship attendance and education attendance. And that attendance will show up here in this view. So if you scroll back and forth, you'll be able to see that information. So let's go back to our calendar. So we can click the gear here at the top and go to calendars. So the worship and education calendar, those are the default calendars. The second type of calendar, there's going to be your significant life event calendars. Examples of those are baptisms, birthdays, confirmation anniversaries. There's also First Communion anniversaries, and all the way down at the bottom once again is going to be your wedding anniversaries. And these calendars are automatically populated by the information that you put into individuals' profile views, into their person records. So when you add a birthday into the system, that birthday is automatically going to be put onto the calendar. And you'll notice here on the same line, but over to the right, it's going to say 17 events this month. So inside of our system, we have 17 birthdays that take place in the month of March. And so that's the second type of calendar. The third type of calendar are going to be calendars that come over from Unite. So Church360 Unite is a website building program, and it shares its calendar information with Church360 members. So if you put calendar information and events inside of Church360 members, that information flows over to Church360 Unite. And if you put calendar and event information in Church360 Unite, that information will flow over to Church360 members. And inside of Church360 Unite, you can add just regular calendars, but you can also have groups, and those group calendars will flow over to Church360 members as well. So a group like Board of Elders, and there's one event, and that event is showing here inside of Church360 members. And the fourth type of calendar is going to be our custom calendar, just calendars that you can create yourself. So we've created some calendars here within the software, but some examples of the different types of calendars that you can create are, you can go in and create like volunteer schedule calendars. It could be your own personal calendar, and you could do different small groups if you aren't pulling those small groups over from Church360 Unite. So I'll also, one other one is you could create calendars for different rooms that are there inside of the church. So you could pull up that calendar to see who has scheduled to use that room, or if that room is reserved. So to create a calendar, you'll click here in the white field here at the top, and you can type in the name of the calendar. Since we have so many calendars already in here, I'm just going to call mine Sample Calendar. And once you type the name into the field, then you're going to click the drop-down box, and you can select a color for the calendar. Now, the colors do add a splash of color to your site, but also things that are similar, you could assign them the same color. So, looking at our example here, we could assign all of the boards to the same color, and we could assign all of the significant life events to the same color. So there is ways of organizing your data based on colors, and once you have that color put into the system, at some point that color, you'll recognize it and it'll begin to make sense as it being an event from that calendar. So I'm just going to select the red color here, then click add calendar, and that will add the calendar into the system. You do have the option for inline editing, so if I typed the name into the system and it was incorrect or I needed to change it for some reason, I can simply click on the name of the calendar, and then I could add in additional information if need be. Then I can change the color. Then over here on the right hand side, I could simply click save, and then that would save the calendar. So you'll notice that the event shows up here at the top part of the list. It's not in alphabetical order. Once you refresh your view or you go out of the program and go back in, it'll move that calendar into its correct location. So it's sample calendar down here. If you have a calendar in the system that you want to get rid of, on the far right hand side there's a circle minus. You can click on that circle minus, then click delete, and then that will allow you to delete that calendar. Okay. Up at the top there is a download button, and that will allow you to download the list of calendars to CSV or Excel. And there's also a print button, which will take the information inside of your view and export that out to a printable view. So it's going to be on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's set portrait. So I'm going to go ahead and close the calendars. The last thing to mention inside of this view is running down kind of the center of the window, you'll see the number of events that take place during this month. And if you click on that number, so I'm going to click on birthdays here, that will actually take me over to the events view where I can actually see those events. So that basically does the same thing as clicking on events here, but it filters the events that you're going to see based on the calendar that you've selected there. So when you're in the events view, across the upper left hand corner you'll see the word events, then you'll also see the new button, and that new button allows you to create new events, and we're going to add events here in just a second. Below events, it's going to give you the month that you're currently viewing or showing for. Then below that, there's going to be directional arrows that allow you to go back to previous months and go forward in time. So it's kind of back and forth in time there. And then if it's loading, it'll have a little Ajax loader here, the circles that the arrows that show that it's refreshing there. And in between the two arrows, there's going to be a today button, and that button will take you from wherever you're at in time and take you back to today's date. So if I click here, that'll take me all the way from August up back till March, or back to March there. So on the right hand side there's going to be a download button, and that will allow us to download our calendar or our view to Microsoft Word. So it's downloading to a docx file format right now. To the right of download is going to be print, and that will allow us to print this calendar. Depending on how many events and the layout, you may actually prefer to download it. Let me click download and go to Microsoft Word here. And you may actually prefer to download it and then make whichever changes that you like. Let me double click on this and just make sure everybody can see it. Okay. And then once it's in Microsoft Word, you'd be able to make whichever changes you would like to make at that point and print it out. So you could change and make sure the paper was landscape or portrait, add in additional information, and you could, from there, use your print controls. So I'm going to switch screens. I'm going to close Microsoft Word and return to Church360 members. So there's the download button, the print button. The save report button allows you to save the information that you have in this view to to the reports view. So you're basically creating a report that you can go back and generate over and over and over again. So when you click Save Report, that's going to save the month that you have selected, the month and week, so the month or week layout, and then the calendars that you have selected here. So, and it's just when you click Save Report, you can name the report and you can save it. Once that report is saved, if you go to the Reports view, you'll actually see that report underneath Starred Reports. So I'm going to go back to the Events view. And since I clicked on Events view, instead of it filtering for birthday, it's actually just showing all of the calendars. Here below Download, Print, and Save Report, there's Month, Week. Currently we're on the Month view, and that's going to show you all the events for the current month or for a month. Then if I go to the Week view, this is going to give me a kind of like an agenda view, so it's going to go top to bottom on the page. And I'll be able to see all of the events that are taking place Sunday through Saturday. If there are calendars that I want to exclude, I can go to the Calendars button. And then the easiest way to narrow down your calendars is to click the All button, then click it one more time to take all of the calendars on there off. And then I can click on the ones that I want to see. So I could do birthdays and I could do wedding anniversaries if I wanted to. And then that would show me who has birthdays and wedding anniversaries in the upcoming week or in the week that I'm showing. Okay, so then let's go back to the month view here and let's show our worship events. Okay, and right now we just have Sunday events on the calendar, and there's two events that I'd like to add. I'd like to add a Saturday worship event so that I can show recording attendance and show recording communion as well. So say that our church hadn't had Saturday worship, but starting in March, we are going to have, and actually I'm going to go back to the end of February. So I'm going to do February 27th, and I'm going to call this Saturday worship. And once I type in the name of the event, then I can say add this to the calendar, and I can type a few characters to help me search and find the calendar I want to add it to. So I could do worship, and just recently they added it so that you can actually you can actually select more than one calendar for this event to be tied to. But I'm just going to put mine on the worship calendar. And once I select the worship calendar, I can say the location of the event. So it could be in the sanctuary. Then the time frame, the starts and ends, that's going to represent just a single event. So if this is February 27th and it's like a 5 p.m. worship service, then I can say February 27th, 5 p.m. through February 27th, 6 p.m. And that would just be for that single service. I could then go to this event repeats, and I could say that this takes place every single week on Saturday. Then I can say when it starts and when it ends. So let's say that this is going to, for some reason, it's going to end at the end of March. So we'll say April 2nd there. And then from there, if this is supposed to be an all-day event, I can check this as an all-day event. Down here at the bottom, there is attendance is taken, communion served, and offerings taken. Now, for you to be able to check communion served, you do have to check attendance taken. And when you check offerings taken, that means that you can tie the offering batch to this event for reporting purposes. There's also the description, and you can fill in a description for this event if you need to. So once we have all of the event information filled in, we'll click the Add button. And that will add our event into the system. You'll notice that some of the events are kind of washed out or grayed out. And those events that are washed out have already taken place. And the events that have full color, Those events have not taken place yet. So I'm going to go ahead and also add in one more event, and this is going to be for movie night on Friday. So I'm going to call this Youth Movie Night. And then I'm going to put this on the youth group calendar. Okay. Then I could do a location. We could say gymnasium. And I could set my date, time frame, when this event occurs. So if this is every other week on Friday, I could say that, and I can say whether it ends. And if I'm going to record attendance, I want to make sure to check the box for attendance. For movie night, we're going to say that communion is not going to be served and that offerings are not going to be taken. So then I'll click Add, and that event will be added into the system. Oh, the reason why that event is not showing up, lost track there exactly what I did. Sorry about that. It's on the youth group calendar. So there goes youth movie night there. Okay, so once our events are in the system, then the next thing we can do is record attendance. So to record our attendance, we'll click on attendance here at the top inside of our main menu bar. Then we'll see a list of all the events that are set to record attendance running down the right-hand side here. So if we want to record attendance for last week's Saturday worship, what we would do is we would click Saturday worship here on the right-hand side, and that would select the event. So looking at the event information, it's going to say Saturday worship here, and it's going to say the date below that. You'll notice how I kind of hover over Saturday worship. That means that that's going to be a hyperlink, and if I click that hyperlink, that will actually take me back into the edit attendance event view, where I could go in and make changes to the event. So I'm going to click, actually I'm going to click the back arrow, so I'll go back to my inner attendance view. Below the name and date of the event is going to be typed a filter. And you can use this just to find find a person inside the system or find a household. The only little caveat with the type to filter, it is based on name. So in this situation, if there's somebody in the household who has a different name, if you type the household name, you're not going to see the individual whose last name is different from the household name. So that's just something to keep in the back of your head while you're entering in this information. And we are taking suggestions on that feature. So I'm going to take Baxter out of here, and then that will show me all the names as well. The names that are listed here in our list are reflected by the filter that we have selected here on the right-hand side. So if we have this set to something besides everyone, then it's going to filter those people out. So it's going to filter based on the filter that we have selected. It's going to exclude people based on the filter that we have selected. So if we had it set to members, then we would not see non-members. So, and you guys probably understand what I'm saying there. So it's going to say showing 206 people in members. Clicking the drop list allows you to select one of the default smart groups. So those are everyone in members. And you can also select one of the tags that are in the system. So tags are going to have the little tag behind, in front of their name or beside the name of the group or the designation. So if you had something that was youth related, you could find those youth and record attendance for them. So since we're doing Saturday worship, we probably would do members or do everyone. We could also actually do a smart group of people who've attended in the last 2 years. So we could filter people out based on the fact of whether or not they've attended. To do that, since I started on members, it's going to have the members criteria, but I can use the circle minuses to take off those lines. We could start with people who are living. We can add a trait, let's say attended. Oops, click right here, attended. And we could say attended worship and in the last, and I'm going to say 2 years. Then if I want to save this as a smart group, let me take out the characters there. If I want to save this as a smart group, I can click save. And when I start making changes to the criteria, the traits here, then that's going to show custom group here. So at this point, I could go through and I could select people as attending. So to mark someone as attending, I have 2 options, and technically actually 3. So I can click on the household name, and by clicking on the name, that's going to mark, that's going to mark Mark, Allie, and Sally as attending. If I click on the chalice on the household name, the communion chalice, that's going to mark everybody in the household as communing and as attending. So you'll notice after clicking on the household name for Baxter and clicking on the chalice for the Belton family, I have 8 people who attended and 5 people who communed. Then if I have families where just one or I guess a few of the people but not the whole family attended, I can use the name or the chalice for those people. So if we're in a situation where we're recording attendance for the Benedict family, if Amy communed and attended, I can click on the chalice. If Joe did the same, but Susie just attended and Billy just attended, then I can click on their names. And you'll notice how now it's 12 attended and 7 communed. So, it just depends on how you are recording that information. Make sure that you only use this icon here on the right-hand side. And the icon stands for regular attenders. These are going to be the people that you expect to attend the service or expect to attend the event. And you'll notice, look at my count down here, 12 and 7. If I click on the regular attenders, the people who attended and the people who communed does not change. But the number of regular attenders does change. And basically the way that regular attenders works is that you can state who's going to attend your service, and then you can actually enter attendance by selecting all of the people you expect to be there and then unselecting the people who did not attend. So if I have all of my people who I believe to attend, who I believe will be attending, selected as regular attenders, and let me refresh my screen here. So if I have all the people who I expect to be attending set as regular attenders because I have the little battery icon here selected, then if I click select regulars here on this first line, that's all that's going to do is select those people who are regular attenders as attending. So I kind of think of it as reversing the approach of entering in your attendance. So instead of selecting the people who are attending, you start out by selecting everyone you perceive to be there. Then you unselect the people who did not attend. So it's kind of do it in a reverse order there. Once you have entered in the people who attended and who communed, the next thing you'll probably want to do is enter in your usher count or your head count. And right now we have 13 people who attended. Say our ushers say that it was actually 20. So I can click here in additional head count, type the number 7, and you'll notice here on the right-hand side how it now says total 20. Anytime that you click on one of the buttons here on the left-hand side or in your list of attenders or potential attenders, so if I click on Rick, you'll notice here on the right-hand side how it says saved. Every time that you click on a record, it automatically saves. And the reason why we do this is so that information is never lost when you're entering in attendance. If you just want to enter an account, you can check the box here. I would just like to enter in I would retake. I would like to enter just a count for this event. And then I could just type in the number of people that attended the event and then click save. And then that would save that information. Typing in a count or adding in a head count to your numbers, that information does show on your reports. So let me uncheck this here. And so if I have 14 and 7, when I review individual attendance, I'll have 14 people, but when I run reports that show the total number of people that counted, there would actually be 21. So it would be the 14, 7, and my number on that report would be 21. So let me close the tray here. One other thing is you can extract this information or actually a couple other things. You can extract this information to CSV or Excel, and you can also download an attendance sheet. So if you do CSV or Excel, and let me click on that button there, and then it'll save the file to Excel. It'll be down here in the bottom if you're using Google Chrome. Let me give that just a second to pull up. There we go. Enable editing. And at this point, you will see the date that everybody attended, the event, the name, and whether or not they communed. And then this would be an attendance report. Let me close, don't save. I'm going to close Microsoft Excel there. You can also go to download, and you can download an attendance sheet. Once I click on download and I start that attendance sheet downloading, you'll kind of see the process working. It may take a moment, but when it completes, you can click download, and then that will download it. Give it just a second here. Okay, that should have appeared. If it does not appear, you can go to your message center here, and you may have noticed earlier how we have all these items that are listed here, and it just shows you the items that have been downloaded. But at one point in the past, we downloaded the attendance sheet. But if I click on download here, that will allow me to view the Sunday school worship there. Oh, actually, it did download. It's right here, Saturday worship. Sorry about that. And then that would be our attendance sheet. So it's showing February 27th, and then it has the option to see or to check the other days for people attending. So I'm going to go ahead and close that worksheet. Running down the right-hand side, you will see all of the events that you can record attendance for. You'll see the calendar that they're tied to. You'll also notice that there's a little check here on the left-hand side, and that little check means that attendance was recorded for that event. And if you want to see older events, you can scroll down, and that's the event we're working on right there. But you can scroll down, and it does have infinite scroll, so it'll keep going back in time so that you can see those events. Okay, and let me take a look at my notes here real quick. And that is actually all of the information that I had for this training. So, question and answer session. Do you have any questions? You can definitely post those in the question box, and I can answer those for you. I'll hang on for a few more minutes here. And I do want to thank everybody for attending. I really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed this class. If you have any further questions after the question and answer session, then you can give us a call at our 1-800 number. It's 1-800-346-6120. And you can also email us at support@cts.cph.org.